Hey there, it's Rachel, your exam KP economics teacher, and I am so excited to be here with you today. Seriously, if you can really truly get a grip on what we cover in this session, I promise you, the rest of your economic studies will just click. So grab your notebooks, let's get focused, and start building that A1 grade knowledge together. We're diving straight into the deep end, right to the heart of the subject, the core economic problem. This is it. This is the fundamental reason economics even exists. And it all boils down to three super powerful connected ideas: scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. Okay, listen up because this is the point you need to burn into your memory. Scarcity is the engine that drives everything. And I mean everything in economics. We all want endless things, right? But our resources, like our time and our money, are limited. This simple fact forces us to make a choice. And here's the magic part. Every single time you make a choice, you automatically create an opportunity cost. It's simply the value of the next best thing you had to pass up. It's a chain reaction, you see. Scarcity forces choice, and choice creates opportunity cost. Got it? This is where it gets real and practical. So let's do a quick calculation. Imagine you spend 2,000 naira on textbooks. Now, an economist wouldn't just stop there. They'd ask, okay, but what else could you have done with that 2,000 naira? Well, you could have bought movie tickets. So, how many could you have bought? You just take the 2,000 naira you spent and divide it by the price of a ticket, which is 500 naira. And what do you get? 4. That's it. The real opportunity cost of your textbooks isn't the money, it's the 4 movies you had to miss out on. Okay, so that makes sense for one person, right? But how in the world do we scale this up for an entire nation? I mean, how could we possibly see a whole nation's scarcity, its choices, and all its opportunity costs at the same time? Well, economists have a pretty clever tool for that. It's called the Production Possibility Curve, or PPC for short. And this graph is an amazing way to see the entire core economic problem in just one picture. The curve itself, that shows the absolute maximum a country can produce. That's the limit, the scarcity. Any point right on that curve means you're making an efficient choice. But what if a country is producing inside the curve? Well, that means something's wrong. There's inefficiency, maybe high unemployment. And any point outside the curve, that's just impossible with the resources you have right now. A little tip, something like new technology can actually shift this whole curve outwards, and that's what we call economic growth. Okay, theory is one thing, but you know what really matters? Applying it to get those marks. So let's see how these ideas actually look in your exams. We'll start with WIAC because they just love to test these fundamentals in both their multiple choice and essay sections. Here we go. A classic question from the 2018 WIAC exam. The term opportunity cost is defined as A, the amount of money spent on an alternative, B, the total cost of production, C, the value of the next best alternative foregone, D, the lowest price at which a commodity is sold. The right answer is, of course, C. Now, the number one mistake students make is picking A. Please remember, opportunity cost is not the money you spend. It is the value of the alternative you gave up. It's about the opportunity you lost, not the cash that left your pocket. All right, let's break down this theory question from 2021. A, define scarcity. B, explain the relationship between scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. C, give 2 examples of scarcity in the Nigerian context. Honestly, this is a gift if you're prepared. For part A, they want a textbook perfect definition. For part B, you need to explain that logical flow we talked about. And for part C, this is crucial. You need real-world Nigerian examples. Think about how the government decides its budget or how a family has to manage its limited salary. And this right here is the secret sauce. This is how you get full marks. Don't just list the 3 definitions. No. You have to explain the sequence. You have to say it loud and clear. Scarcity is the problem that forces a choice, and it's the act of choosing that creates the opportunity cost. You have to connect them just like links in a chain. Okay, a graph question from 2017. 1. Identify the nature of opportunity cost as the economy moves from producing more food to producing more clothing, given the usual shape of the PPF. 2. What economic condition is represented by a point located inside the PPF? Two parts. First, the nature of opportunity cost along a typical PPC is increasing. What does that mean? It just means as you produce more and more of one thing, you have to give up bigger and bigger amounts of the other thing. Second part, a point inside the curve, simple. It represents inefficiency. It means resources, people, machines are just sitting around unemployed or being wasted. Let's switch gears and talk JAMB. For the UTME, the name of the game is speed and accuracy. The questions are all multiple choice, but don't let that fool you. They test your understanding just as deeply. Let's do a quick run through. Okay, time for JAMB Rapid Fire Round. The questions: JAMB 2019. Which of the following topics would a macroeconomist primarily focus on? A. The determination of the price of crude oil in the international market. B. The effect of minimum wage legislation on youth employment in Lagos State. C. The impact of the government's fiscal policy on national inflation and GDP growth. D. The decision-making process of a single household regarding savings and consumption. JAMB 2016. In a command economic system, the fundamental economic decisions, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom, are determined by A. Interaction of private individuals and firms. B. The invisible hand of the market forces. C. The central government planning authority. D. A combination of both private and public sectors. JAMB 2022. The effectiveness of economic models is often limited by their reliance on the assumption of A. Unlimited resources and needs. B. Rational behavior and perfect information. C. Government intervention and price rigidity. D. Diminishing marginal returns in production. Let's go. 2019, macroeconomists think big picture, national inflation GDP, that's C. Next, 2016, a command economy. Well, who is giving the commands? The government, central government, C again. And finally, 2022, economic models. To make things simple, they have to assume people behave rationally. B is the one. CCB, fast and accurate. All right, now for NECO. NECO likes to blend things, a little bit of theory, some definitions, and sometimes even a calculation. So let's tackle a couple of questions that have that classic NECO feel. You will see this question or something very, very similar to it. It's a classic. And you know what? It's easy marks as long as you know the difference. The examiner wants a clear distinction and a perfect example for each one. Here's the easiest way to remember this. Positive economics is like a scientist. It just describes what is. It states facts that you can test with data. Normative economics is like a politician. It's about what we should or ought to do. It's based on opinions and values. You have to know the difference to separate real economic analysis from somebody's political argument. Oh, a big 10-mark question like this one from 2023. When you see this, don't panic. Structure is your best friend. The question gives you the structure right there. They want you to compare and contrast, and they've told you exactly what to focus on: resource allocation and motivation. Honestly, using a little table like this in your exam answer is a brilliant way to keep your thoughts organized. So, for allocation, a market economy uses prices. A command economy uses a government plan. For motivation, a market economy is all about profit. A command economy is about hitting government targets. But don't forget the compare part. What's the similarity? At the end of the day, both systems are just trying to solve that same exact fundamental problem of scarcity. Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So before we wrap this up, let's just lock in the most important takeaways. These are the things you absolutely, positively must remember before you walk into that exam hall. These 4 definitions, think of them as your bread and butter, especially for those multiple choice questions in JAMB. Knowing these cold will save you so much time. They are the building blocks for pretty much everything else in economics, so make sure they're locked in tight. And finally, let's talk about how to avoid those simple mistakes that can cost you precious marks. Number 1, opportunity cost is not the price tag. Number 2, for your WIAC and NECO essays, always use local Nigerian examples. It shows the examiner you know how to apply the theory. And most importantly, always explain that logical chain. Scarcity leads to choice, which creates opportunity cost. And that's it. Your foundation is now solid. But remember, the key is practice. If you found this helpful, please do me a huge favor and like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for a giant collection of practice questions to guarantee your success, head over to www.examkp.com. Keep up the amazing work, and I will see you in the next class.